Welcome everybody to another reacting to Force 13 animation. It's from the 1909 Western Pacific Typhoon Season animation this time round, and I probably won't do as much of a chat as last time, but without further ado, let's get straight into the reaction. Oh, I've seen the different water animation. Look at this. The tropical cyclone affected plough on March. 341 millimeters observed. That's a lot of rainfall. That's like, how much is that? That's like 12 inches over. I think so, because 300 millimeters is around 12 inches, and then you would have, yeah, you would have that's a foot of rain over. Interesting that there's a white icon around that cyclone. You know what I reckon is with like these tropical cyclones that have, especially these tropical cyclones with high rainfall totals, I suspect they'll probably have a lot of precipitation, like weak tropical storms, like the ones that have a lot of high convection. So we're pressure depression 02W from May, it's an early May period, making landfall in the central Vietnam region. It's probably going to be quite sparse population. You've got now mid-June, so it's quite a bit of a gap actually between the data set as a month. Category 1 03W makes landfall in northeast Hainan, goes towards Hanoi, the region north. It's interesting, typhoon landfall in early records, Vietnam. 04W 05W category 2 tropical cyclone. I see this is a new icon as well. 05W becomes another northeast Hainan and another northern Vietnam. It's crazy coincidence to the old season where you see back-to-back tropical cyclones in the exact same region with almost the same intensities. 06W, another typhoon making a southeast Hainan, trekking across the whole landmass, which actually weakens the tropical cyclone center, and it makes landfall in the northeast, northern Vietnam as well. Another northeast Hainan. I think this is one of those seasons where they have the stuck-in pattern where they have repeat. You get these sort of monsoon troughs, particularly in the North Pacific, where this happens more often. But here we've got a typhoon from South China Sea in western Luzon. This is actually quite similar to Komei of last year, which the exact same thing happened. It reached category 2 intensity. 08W now moves across the extratropical cyclone. 09W is now moving southwards across Okinawa, external to typhoon as well. Not really seeing any tropical cyclone above category 2 intensity so far. 10W makes a rapid landfall on the southern islands near Kyushu, in Kyushu, and makes actually landfall on Jeju Island, interestingly, and it moves southwest towards the Manchurian plain, sort of like northeast China, basically north on Zhejiang. 09W moves strangely easterly and then moves due south. That's interesting, towards the Ogasawara. Mid-September, by the way, so it should be like peak climatology. I wonder if there's going to be any intense tropical cyclones. 11W is now strengthening tropical storm, which makes landfall. Well, it does actually make landfall. Now it makes landfall in the northern Vietnam region. There's only one central Vietnam region, about 6 tropical cyclone landfalls in the northern Vietnam region. That's quite intense, especially with the Gulf and Tonkin. Typhoon 12W, 13W, 14W, but they didn't animate 14W apparently. It's interesting that there's no animation on that one, but 15W now making another typhoon landfall in this region. 16W is equally strengthening and makes a tropical cyclone. I really find it strange how these tropical cyclones make the exact same landfall region. But some of these seasons are really quite remarkable in that sense. 18W becomes category 2 intensity. Still no major tropical cyclone observed in this entire season, which is really interesting. Like how it's not the case, because I feel like at least some of these tropical cyclones should have had the potential to actually have got a higher intensity. 20W, 19W. 20W actually moves far north, very glitch in the animation. So 1909 actually is one of those years that actually exists just right after one of those. I think it was central Chile, along the central Andes. There was the VI6 eruption. I wonder if that had an influence on the patterns around this time frame, or if not, because it was technically, was it a VI? I think was it a VI7? Actually, it might have been a VI7 eruption, because as a result, it was the most it's the most recent, most intense eruption really that has been since, like, obviously we've had Tonga and the Pinatubo, but those were the eruptions that were not quite as intense as that one. That's the most recent, like, highest intensity which we have. We got first major tropical cyclone reported, 21W, making landfall in the western Hong Kong region. One that may influence, like, the storm surge in the bay of that region, because it's quite vulnerable. 22W in October, category 1 intensity, moves through towards Catanduanes actually was, and then moved towards southern Luzon, and now southern China landfall. 23W is now moving through Visayas, central Visayas, and it moves. Well, actually, what is that landfall? I don't really know what that landfall is because it's north of Palawan. I hope someone can tell me, but I'll try to see where that region is. And 23W dissipates. 24W, so early November period. 24W also in the Strait actually intensifies as well. It's interesting to always see which tropical cyclone intensifies within the Strait. And then 25W, two close by cyclones. Looks like 25W actually is entering a Fujiwara almost like effect, because it moved due westerly erratically, and now there's no real synoptic pattern. Now it's moving northeast, east, and then northeast, and now dissipating. There's no real synopticity, like synoptics at least, to influence the tropical cyclone path. It just happened to weak. And 26W, very south latitude actually, that's like 15 degrees north, and that's moving southwards towards the Thailand peninsula. Strongest, 120 miles. That's an image of you can see the damage. That's actually quite extreme, because you can see the bungalow. 6 landfall typhoons. W has, it didn't have any report. Same as 14W. 977 millibars on that tropical cyclone. So we have 947 millibars for 120 miles per hour. That's quite interesting. That's almost like an Atlantic tropical cyclone, major hurricane pressure relationship. 2,000 fatalities on 12W. 12W, I want to just quickly go back and see. 12W. So it was the one that actually moved due westerly just north of Miyakojima, and actually made landfall in between the Strait of Taiwan and the southeast China region. This region is actually very vulnerable, near Quanzhou. This region is actually very vulnerable to precipitations. I feel like it's very high likelihood that it was actually some very high flooding, almost dam-like flooding. That's a lot of fatalities quarterly, typhoon, and wind related. Obviously, you still have a high number, because the old type of structures they would fail and be vulnerable, like 15W, for example, like 2,000 fatalities. Yeah, you can also see the buildings damaged as well. 610. 34W has 850. Where storms, so 690 millimeters. I like when they had the millimeter reports. 690 millimeters is that's going to be, is that 28 inches rainfall? But yeah, an interesting animation, and let's see what the next season has. Let's go. Alright, we are on the 1910 Pacific Typhoon Season animation. 01W. Early March as well, interesting. It intensifies in between that little gap of like the Philippine Sea approaching Luzon, because of the geography, the shape is almost like a head. There's like this distance, extra distance, that they then once you move north of the Visayas, you get to there's intensity that sustains, and the OHC in that area is actually quite high, like deep, all the way up to landfall. So there's really no time for weakening for any tropical cyclone. The continental shelf is not very influential, which makes it so unique. The O2W is moving through and just north of Okinawa in early May. I feel like this makes sense for early May. Obviously, there's a lot of northerly moving tropical cyclones, but tropical cyclones in May don't typically make landfall. They normally recurve out. That's interesting. We see two tropical cyclones here, O3 and O4W. I love this music track. I can't remember the exact name of the track, but I do love this one. O3W dissipates as a typhoon. O5W is a tropical depression in the South China Sea in the late May period, and it's another due west to east tropical cyclone. But this one does not intensify as much. I mean, it's also okay. Now it's moving northerly, but one of the things is the sea surface temperature pattern has to be favourable initially, anyways, in the South China Sea to support a tropical cyclone that would intensify quickly. Otherwise, it would not sustain a tropical cyclone. The hostility in the wind shear pattern would be too great, especially when you have about 30 knots. O6W, another tropical cyclone that remains relatively weak. O7W, with some of these tropical cyclones, so you get to see very high rainfall, of course, and then the influence, and that caused a lot of damage still. A lot of building reports damage. Typhoon landfall again in the western Hong Kong region. O8W. Hong Kong was still pretty built up at this point, so you had better resistance to tropical cyclone based landfalls versus the other regions that are more susceptible. You can see in the bungalow type structure, O9W makes two tropical storm landfalls, and it doesn't really, like, look at this, it doesn't really, that's very interesting. It goes through the entire central, the eastern, basically the in between the landmass, and not really weakening at all, the brown ocean effect, and it doesn't really weaken between the going across to Taiwan either. 10W going towards the Amami Islands. It's going down towards Okinawa, the island chain, and now it's moving towards Zhejiang province. Typhoon landfall, and again it's sustained, so there's a pretty dominant brown ocean effect. I was saying last time, it's very interesting to see where these tropical cyclones go, and this one's now looping and making the very erratic land depression effect across this region. It's actually sustaining for almost just 3 days now, 4 days. In this current day and age, there'll be a lot of catastrophic flooding. Remnant low still sustains. 11W now weakens. I think that's one of the most interesting tropical depressions, especially relating to the brown ocean effect over China. Like, that one's really quite interesting. 12W. I think the music's changed. This is the beginning of when the big tropical cyclone, the category 4, the big tropical cyclones might potentially occur, indicating the 13Ws, and that's how China Sea as well now. And it becomes 14W strengthens. It's almost like a Krathon, and then now it's also now moving to it's actually moving westerly, southwest. It's moving southwest. Oh, this is a tropical cyclone, isn't this? Isn't 15W the tropical cyclone that moves due south and re-intensifies? Yeah. 15W is one of the only tropical cyclones ever to go parallel the entire coast up till landfall. It's like considered one of the most erratic tracks of any tropical cyclone on record. 15W. I feel like I know that one. I mean, even 14W is almost copycat like. It's interesting to see how similar it was. But 18W, another tropical cyclone. These tropical cyclones forming actually quite close to sea, right next to the Gulf of Tonkin, south of Hainan. Quite interesting. Okay, this is Colombo. Typhoon Colombo. The Paracel Islands. Central Vietnam. slightly north actually, not quite the central region. Still quite mountainous. This tropical cyclone 21W also in the same region. Actually, this one's more north as well. Becomes quite mountainous. 22W in the PER regions, but of course, I mean, this one's actually strengthening to major typhoon, and it's moving towards early October, mid-October now. Landfall over Okinawa, tropical cyclone. It's actually really interesting to see how it just stalled over. It's like Shanshan of 2024, but it took, I mean, it weakened pretty quickly as well. (23W), and now we've got to see a tropical cyclone that's actually, I mean, category 2 intensity moving to the southern Visayas region, Palawan, north of Negros, into this is the same central Vietnam vulnerable region that I was mentioning. 24W, central Visayas as well. Moves just south of Manila, but I say wrong like that, but okay. Typhoon moves south of the Paracel Islands. Just take note of that, just so I can reference it. It's into the central Vietnam region, the same bit. It's the bit of the peninsula that sort of juts out. 25W, and this one actually moves right across near the Paracel Islands. 26W makes a typhoon landfall in the southern Mindanao, which is actually really interesting. A very southerly latitude influence. A very rare region. Severe cuttling Japan tropical storm 12. Yeah, and this is what I was saying about tropical cyclones, especially the tropical storms. High convection, a lot of flooding, Philippines, the 550 landfall in the 8th season, regular flooding issues. They named one of them Colombo, did they not? Yeah, and you see Typhoon 22W, 100 knots, and 940 millibars. I'm interested to see the stats here. So yeah, 12W was the one which was responsible for high flooding. So I wonder what the Colombo, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of damage. Buildings have got like almost 5,000. I wonder what Colombo is referencing. Is it just like the ship report? 466 millimeters of rainfall. That's still quite a lot. The last one was even higher, that's 690. Right, 1911. 1W. Almost just east of Yat, barely. That's like 50 miles east. It's just interesting how that one just weakens towards Alamagan and Iron in the Northern Mariana Islands. It's early March as well, I just forgot to mention that. It's moving into now mid-March, mid-April, sorry, into late April. Now O2W moves towards the PR region, towards the central Visayas, moves towards just near Mindoro, and dissipates on the South China Sea. But there's always the one big tropical cyclone, which is what the music leads up to. O3W is now we have a major tropical cyclone that's become category 3. Now finally a category 4 intensity tropical cyclone. It's interesting to see finally a report category 4 tropical cyclone after a few years of reports. And barely just recurved as well, so that's got to be like a ship report or something. And I feel like this is the issue with a lot of these category 1 tropical cyclones. They could have had a ship report that could have indicated a high intensity. Look at Hurricane Oscar from 2024, the smallest hurricane on record. It's actually considered a microcane. Technically, it could have been, it was technically a high-end category 2, even though it's reported as a mid-category 1 intensity in the official NHC analysis reports. But my analysis is very as it does clearly. And that's the thing with these tropical cyclones, the same incident could be true. Like O5W now as well, it's mid-June, and it's making landfall into the southern Kyushu. Typhoon landfall moves across the entire peninsula. It's the same type of thing when the tropical cyclones move due like northeasterly across the entire peninsula of mainland Japan, and as a result, it actually favours tropical cyclone related tornadoes more often, because we had the JEF3 tornado that occurred on tropical storm paper last year, with 170 mile per hour wind. Metal sheet was lofted and some damage, but yeah, it's quite interesting to see. O6W, Category 1 intensity tropical cyclone moving into Luzon, and now it's early July and it moves towards Hainan. Actually no, it does not, it moves towards Hong Kong, now moves and typhoon landfall in more of a remote region. This region not as into towards Hong Kong, but it's somewhat close to Macau, but it doesn't quite get as close. And O7W is now into the Southeast China region. That's a true vulnerable flooding region. And O8W into the northern Luzon region. That's like near northern Apayao. Just barely dodged Taiwan, and again the same typhoon region, almost just a couple of years apart. Guangzhou, now it's another impact and vulnerable. No9W, again another tropical cyclone that's forming way far east. Is it late July period now? South China Sea tropical cyclone 10W as well. Very slow moving. Let's see how fast the other one, O9W, is moving relative to O10W, which is moving very slow. It's almost like tropical or typhoon haiku from 2023. It paralleled the coast and it weakened, even though it was a major tropical cyclone, and weakened. 11W, and now another tropical cyclone near the northern Apayao region. Near just south the northern Isabela region, Philippines, again just west of Hong Kong. Pretty vulnerable spot, being impacted quite a lot of times by typhoon landfalls, due northerly landfall into near that region. 13W now as well, moving towards Okinawa. The Okinawa island chain just threaded the needle, so it might have been a direct hit, but not necessarily landfall. Near Zhejiang landfall actually of a typhoon. 14W. It's one of these stuck-in patterns where you get the same tropical cyclone sort of impacting the same region. But like in different cases, you have the monsoon trough. You have the vorticity that's from another tropical cyclone that actually aids in the previous wave axis, or the trailing wave axis, to actually strengthen and become a true tropical cyclone. And you get this repeat pattern that there's no real change in the synoptics, so that the pattern continues. You get the same sort of thing. The 17W here, Category 3 tropical cyclone. It's Category 4 now. Could be the first Category 5, not quite. So 135 knots likely. 17W, Category 3 landfall, probably 100 knots. Category 1 landfall. So significant typhoon landfall there. 18W, another Category 2 intensity. Category 3 now strengthening. That's a really interesting location. It strengthened due west, like it moves north due west, but it's strengthening at the same latitude as northern Taiwan as it's moving due westerly. The reason why I say that is because you don't see tropical cyclones that often do have that sort of track intensifying that sort of way. So when you take in tropical cyclone and you have little boxes, like all densities, when you think of where tropical cyclones cross, like where they cross and meet and where they sort of intensify, you can sort of build this sort of understanding of a database where it becomes sort of rare. And in this case it's true as well. And again, another typhoon landfall. That's been about 2 or 3 now landfalls near Guangzhou, same vulnerable region, and the brown ocean effect is very prominent because you get another depression that's moving, it's doing the exact same, strengthening and sustaining itself over land. Another extra cyclone towards Hokkaido. 19W. The depression moving towards the PR region was interesting. You see how much You see how much time there's extra time there is now because the tropical cyclone is moving towards Luzon. It's the extra distance between the water, whereas it could have made landfall into the size and much less time. And there's a unique geography that's shaping the intensity and the track. 19W and 20W, two simultaneous typhoons at the same time. 20W, a lot of Kyushu-based landfalls, but mainly on the southern tip. The northern region actually doesn't get impacted on landfall as often or sustained like intensity. The northern Kyushu region and the category 2 here, 21W as well, moving into the actually central Luzon region. Dongshan, that's the island. Is that I don't think that's. I mean, it seems a bit pretty far removed from Taiwan, but I mean, it could be. Because you have like Penghu Island, that's like the one that's near Taiwan. A small island. The PNGHU. 13W. I mean, this is the music. This music, I feel like, is entailing the idea that there could be an intense tropical cyclone landfall. 24W. I mean, here's an intense tropical cyclone, category 4 intensity, mid-central October. So this is like prime time for any intense tropical cyclone. Like early November, I'm thinking there could be a big tropical cyclone here. There really could be because it's very favourable conditions. 25W. Strengthening category 2 intensity landfall in central Luzon late October now, and it moves very slowly due northerly. One of the things with like tropical cyclones that move due northerly and they really slow down is that you have like a ridge pattern with one flow going this way, and you have an opposing flow, and you have this moat of basically conditions where this tropical cyclone has no real location of least path, because the tropical cyclone has this propensity to move into the path of least resistance, but if there is none, it's going to stall, move, and be very erratic. It's like think about Hurricane Melissa, how erratic and slow it was, constantly just jogging around in the central Caribbean so slowly. Yeah, 26W in the exact same sort of conditions. This is actually really interesting because it's way far east, and I think the pattern would be much more conducive to moving a tropical cyclone and recurving it quickly, because typically you don't get slow moving tropical cyclones like that far east. So interesting to note that you get some sort of perfect example like that one of a slow moving tropical cyclone, but in a completely different region, all the way in the east. Not even in the PR really. I think it was literally on the border between PR and not. 27W, another tropical cyclone. Once a typhoon and makes landfall in northern Luzon. And now it moves. That was a very rapid easterly movement. It was like perfectly around Taiwan, Formosa, and double impact. Major Typhoon 5, yeah, washed up ships. High intensity landfall, large tropical cyclone wave heights. 03W was the category 4 intensity, so you've seen a couple of category 4 intensity reports of this. That was a recurving tropical cyclone. And you can see all this variation in pressure. You can see the variation in pressures here. You can see 85 miles per hour, so 75 knots, even by 93 millibars, 75 knots, 92 millibars, 95 knots, 977 millibars. I've seen 155 miles per hour, so you've got 135 knots, and we've got 920 millibars. It's interesting. It was the other one, so yeah, 140 miles per 9 and 30 millibars. Pretty directly corresponding. A high, very deadly actually season as well. 17W, 18W. So which tropical cyclones? Yeah, you've got these two significant landfalls. Both of significant landfall. This was the one that made that rare landfall that I was saying. This is why I was saying it's quite influential, really. And you see 17W here, the one which is really strengthened and moved into the southern Taiwan region, a very significant landfall, and into this region vulnerable to flooding as well. So yeah. See how deadly it is. It's really quite deadly. The 2,000, but that's a lot of damage per length. 29,000. That's half, but that's a lot. And look at that, like 06W with their absolutely astounding 2,210 millimeters of rainfall. It's not quite in the top 10, but it's still obviously very generally high numbers. That's like, I'm not really sure how high that is. That's because you'd have this probably gonna be something like, I think this might even be something as high as like 80 inches of rainfall, like between 80 inches of just rainfall from 06W, which was the early season one. This one. So this tropical cyclone moved towards. Okay, I mean it wasn't really stalling or being too erratic, like. But as it approached, it must have been the predecessor rain event, surely. But no real significant fatalities reported alongside the tropical cyclone. It says that 06W, 2,210 millimeters of rainfall. That's crazy. Predecessor rainfall event. There's otherwise just really no other way to explain it. But with that, I will end it here. So I will see you in the next animation, whatever that may be.